You're now listening to Sound Talent Media. Check out more shows at soundtalentmedia.com.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Matt McGachy, the vocalist of Cryptopsy and the host of the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians. We talk all about their lives and music while sharing killer craft beers. If you've ever wanted to sneak backstage and share a beer with one of your favorite musicians, well, Vox and Hops is the podcast for you. This week on the podcast, I dropped a killer episode with Kelly Schaefer of Atheist. There is this episode and over 440 other ones to help you enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. So what are you waiting for? It's time to become a Vox and Hops head. Cheers.
What is up? Welcome to this episode. So yes, if you clicked on this, you probably have an idea of what's in store, and you probably have seen all the hubbub around the slice of pie. If you didn't, really briefly, this is a collaboration that I did with Big Ear Pedals, and it is a fuzz pedal that is in an enclosure that looks exactly like a slice of pizza. I hope that I didn't overhype that for you. I was genuinely so excited for it and am still so excited about it. I'm holding it in my hand right now. I can't believe it's finally here. I know it might have been cheesy to a lot of you, but this was a true passion project, and we worked on this for over 20 months. Grant and Karen and everyone involved poured so much into this thing, and it's finally here. So this isn't meant to be another big plug for it. This is more about explaining the process behind it and how something seemingly as simple as this is really, really, really hard to get right. And I have to say, I think Big Ear really were the only ones that could pull it off in such a perfect way. So I'm really excited with how it came out. I think you're going to enjoy this chat, and I think it will help clarify for those that maybe don't understand some of the complexities that go into something seemingly as simple as this. It really is just, it's very difficult to bring something unconventional to the market like this and to do it with such a degree of detail. So anyway, let's get right into the backstory of the slice of pie. Here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Tone Mob Podcast, the show about guitar stuff occasionally, sometimes. I'm your host, Blake Weiland, and with me today, I have Karen and Grant from Big Ear Pedals, and we're going to talk about the thing that's been all over the internet for the last however many days. Math is hard. It'd be like almost a week since the slice of pie came out, and we thought it would be fun to actually, because a lot of people see it and they're like, haha, that's funny, that's cool. And they don't realize how much work has went into this. So I thought it'd be fun to bring you guys on the podcast, and we could actually talk about it from like the day you called me to now, because it has been a whirlwind. So let's do this thing.
Well, hello, Blake.
Hello, Blake.
Hello.
All right.
It's good to see you guys. I've been talking to you guys a lot and enjoying every second of it. So, well, now we might as well record some of it. Why not?
Same.
Right on, right on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think if all the listeners of the podcast, if you don't know Grant and Karen, they've been on twice. Go back and listen to their episodes. If you don't know what the slice of pie is, just Google slice of pie guitar pedal, and you will have a whole wonderland of videos. But I'm guessing if you listen to this show, you probably are aware of both of those things. So we're just going to start with that in mind. And we're going to start with the day you called me, Grant, because it was about 5 minutes, I think, after you had the idea. And then we've just kind of been on this journey ever since. So tell the people your side of the story.
All right. So early on in the pandemic, Karen started hand painting pedals. And this is something that she had brought up wanting to do in the past. And it just didn't totally make sense for us. And, I just didn't think that was really our thing. And there's a million and one other things to do, to run a business and whatever. And it just wasn't like priority. But then with the pandemic, it was like, well, I guess we're not going anywhere for a while. And there was, more free time. So it seemed like reasonable that Karen said like, maybe it makes sense. I should start painting pedals now. I got all this time. I'm sitting here. So we got a bunch of supplies, and she'd been painting her whole life, but just not painting pedals. So it's like a different kind of paint, I guess. I don't know anything about that stuff.
It's enamel paint, which smells. It's like the paint that they use to do toy model cars and things like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But they come in teeny tiny bottles, and they're really fun to paint with. They're very similar to acrylic, and though they're a little bit more watery than that, it's not really important, but it's fun.
Yeah.
So,
and I actually have the first pineapple and Canadian bacon pizza that I think it's the only one that you did, but Scott Hamilton from the Effects Loop commissioned that for me from you guys.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of this weird, like,
so
yeah.
So basically when Karen started painting the pedals, I just thought like, well, if this is a thing that we're going to offer, on the website or something, that we need to have a couple examples of different kinds of things that you can paint. So she did like, some animal portraits, and then some fun, like quirky things like little sunglasses, and then some kind of abstract stuff, psychedelic looking stuff. And then she did a pepperoni pizza, because who doesn't love pepperoni pizza?
Right.
And she painted this thing, and as she's painting this thing, I'm looking at it. I'm like, wow, wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool to make a pizza that looks like that, but that's in the shape of a slice of pizza? And then like maybe like a minute or two after that, I'm like pulling out like scrap paper and a 125B, which is a standard like low for Albee that we make that size enclosure. And I kind of took little measurements and made a like pretty rough sketch, which really honestly is what it really ended up looking like. It maybe is like a 1 or 2 degrees wider, because Jesse had to I wanted to make sure that when we had these enclosures, we could make an entire pie out of them.
Yeah.
And my initial drawing, I didn't really take into consideration that geometry. So sketched it up. And then probably 2 or 3 minutes later after that, Karen and I talked about it. And then I called you. I was like, is this a crazy idea? Do you want to do this with us? Because we can't. The thing is that you can't do a pizza pedal and not include the tone mob,
Well, I appreciate that very much. Yeah, you called me. You're like, is this a crazy idea? I'm like, yeah, it is, but it's a good one. It's just crazy. It doesn't necessarily mean bad. I was like, yeah, 100%. We have to do this. And it's funny just because it's been in process for so long. And I've been talking about it with my friends and family and stuff. And so like my grandma and like people who have no idea really what even guitar pedals do, just like, how did the pizza pedal launch go? Like, what's going, like, they wanted to know, like, what happened with the slice of pie? And so it was a fun thing, kind of like my whole like circle of family, like that doesn't play, was just like all about it.
Nice.
So yeah, I've been showing them like progress pics and things over time. And my kids were, yes, today's the day, slice of pie. Like Rocky's 2.5. And he's like, slice of pie, like slice of pie. He's so excited. And so like, I don't know, the unboxing video I did was a little bit different than the other people on YouTube, because I knew what was in it. I knew everything that was coming, but like, that was my really true first time seeing it all together. And so like somebody commented, they're like, it's so fun to see how happy you are. As I was so stoked, I was like, "It's here!
Yeah.
It's here!" I was like, "Don't get teary." But like, I think it seems like to some people they're like, "Okay, this is kind of schlocky and weird and whatever." But like, it's been such a labor of love.
Oh yeah,
so much time.
20 months.
Yeah, 20 months, and it's not an easy thing to do. Like the custom enclosure alone is not an easy thing to do. There were several iterations of that with different bends and ways it worked, and trying to make it.
And before we even got
criteria.
to that stage, we had like several calls and meetings with Jesse Rue from Rude Tech in Nashville, and because he did the 3D modeling, I guess I don't know really what you call it, but and kept sending us images and just like, do you want the bottom plate to look like this or like this? That would change where the screw placement is on the sides. If we have it fold here and maybe do it all on a tab, that might save money in the end. Because doing something like this is much more expensive than than just buying a standard, everyone else uses enclosure and then having it drilled and powder coated.
It's like quadruple, isn't it?
It's almost quadruple the price. So we had to think of all these little things that it's like this might bring down the cost a little bit. This might bring down the cost a little bit. And while still making it awesome and not really like cutting any corners. So just different construction styles and things. I think initially the back corners had like 2 folds, and then Hamilton, the company that made this in California, they hit Jesse up and they're like, oh, well, we're going to weld them and they'll be welded and ground down. So you don't need to do that additional fold because it's just going to be connected with liquid metal.
Right.
and so there's no reason for that. So like stuff like that, like just little things. And so that took quite some time. And then honestly, the powder coating and the printing took quite some time as well. We originally were going to have multiple types of powder coat for the back plate, the top side, and the face, because we wanted it to look crusty on the back. And so we were exploring using some vein powder coats, which is like a crackle finish, like a lot of vintage fuzzes you'll see. And we couldn't find a color that was brown that kind of had that look. And so we worked with Jacob Adams from F5 Metalworks on this, and he hit us up and he said, I think it would be best if we just printed on the top side where the jacks are, which I was like, how's that even possible? Because it's a triangle. Like you can't stand it on its end. And he said, well, we're going to just CNC out some fixtures that they'll just sit right in, and then we'll lower the print bed and print the jack side. And so the face is printed, the top side is printed, and then the bottom side is printed to look like a slice of the bottom of a slice of pizza. So it's printed all the way around, 3 sides. And it's just a very, complex thing that took, like, every step was a lot of, experimentation and figuring it out. And definitely the prototype that we sent to you, the first actual visual, the one that actually had, printing on it and looked like a slice of pizza is quite different than what it ended up being,
Definitely. Like that was when we were still experimenting with the powders on the crust, I believe. Yeah. I don't even think we were to the printing stage then. And then even after that was established that was going to work, there was still the issue of the print line, which was not that visible, but still like you could kind of, if you were looking, and then genius solution of who come up with the solution for that? Was that Jacob, or did you guys think about
Grant.
That was Grant.
Yeah.
Nice.
So where the top, with the face of the pedal meets the back side of the pedal where the jacks are, it had to wrap around. And so the print, he would print, I believe, the jack side first and then print the top and just go a little bit over the edge. And so that ink would kind of drop down because it's a UV printer. And so it kind of would blend in the two. But when that happened, the end of the graphic was flat. So I thought, what if the end of the graphic was just all jagged and just kind of like crazy, like chaos, basically, kind of just like a noise thing. And that way the crust itself has like little, inconsistencies all throughout, little specks and little bubbles and some flour and various things, So that way you wouldn't notice it because it would just blend into that texture of the crust and you don't notice it. No,
you can't. I'm looking. Like I was looking for it. Like, no.
But she had to cut it out. So she did it doesn't matter. It was a good idea, but it was executed incredibly.
It was. Everything, the whole concept, I'm holding it for the listeners who can't see this, but I'm sitting here holding it and I still can't believe it makes me hungry. I know that it's not a real piece of pizza, but I like genuinely see it. And I'm like, man, that looks good. Like that looks really good. And that was some of the criticism I saw. And we knew there was going to be some crusty people, out there that weren't gonna find it funny or appreciate how much work goes into it. And that's fine. It's not for everybody. But that was we talked about it yesterday. Some people were saying like, ew, that looks gross. I'm like, are you telling me that pizza looks gross? Because that is a photo of a piece of pizza. And if you think that looks gross, that means you must not like pizza, which is, you're not somebody that I can really associate with. I think comfortably. I don't think that's not good.
Like, I don't understand.
And it's some of the best looking pizza in Nashville, as far as I'm concerned, because having lived in New York for as long as we did, we've seen a lot of pizza.
Well, they're from New York. The NY Pie.
They are.
People
They are. I think
from New
they're
York.
from like upstate New York, but still that counts. I think they can say they're New Yorkers.
They have accents.
Yeah, but I actually, the thing is, NY Pie is one of our favorite places anyway. We go there often. We get their pizza often, and but for this project, we needed a really good looking slice of pizza that was, you know, the kind of like the standard for what you would expect a good slice of pizza to be. I mean, obviously in Nashville, you can, or anywhere around the country, there's a lot of different slices that might be decorated this way or that way, or have special ingredients and very fancy stuff. But we didn't want anything like that. We just wanted like what you think of in your head. Like, what are the turtles holding? Like, what? It's just like just a generic triangle with.
Yeah. What do you get at Two Brothers?
Yeah. So we looked around, and like I said, even though NY Pie is our favorite spot, I wanted to make sure that, you know, I knew their pizza looked good. And so we started just like ordering random, you know, pizzas and trying places we've never tried before, and ended up kind of being a little disappointed in some of those occurrences there. And after a period of time, I just thought like, man, we just keep ordering these like not very delicious pizzas to experiment. And so I realized you can go to Yelp and you can look at customer photos from, you know, because obviously the photos that the places take are like the best version of whatever, but you can go to Yelp and see people's uploaded photographs of the pizza that they actually got when they visited, right? So I started doing that, and my buddy Andrew and I were looking through these things, and then I was like, man, look! I was like, let's go look at NY Pie, and the pictures, because I knew what they looked like, and so he looked at the pictures. He's like, yeah, that's the best looking slice. So it just so happened that we went with them, and Andrew went and picked up a pizza, and I wanted to take the photo outside because I just figured it would be the easiest. I don't want to deal with trying to light a pizza and get it to look. It's
too big to fit in the our light box, and also it would just get greasy and gross.
Yeah, make a mess. So we did it outside and sat it on the back table. And I thought if it was just even lighting, you know, good time of the day. And also I kind of wanted everything. I wanted the grease to be kind of glowing and everything to have like, you know what I mean, like the pepperonis to look a little more 3-dimensional.
Fresh and not stale.
Yeah. So I had everything set up. He brought the pizza. And then as soon as he brings the pizza, the clouds cover.
Started to rain.
And it starts to rain. And so we got to cover up the pizza and wait and, you know, take the camera off the tripod. And
you also want to eat the pizza.
Yeah. And everybody wanted to eat it. Well, it was a pepperoni pizza. I don't eat meat. So they wanted to eat it. And
they're like, oh man.
And
it's raining.
I'm like, just wait. Like Nashville's really weird. Like you wait like literally 20 minutes and it's going to be a whole new weather. And so we did. We waited 20 minutes and the sun came back out and we got some photos. And then Karen actually ate the slice that is depicted on the pedal. And I have a picture.
It's really good.
I have a photo of her eating it. And I think I shared it.
I don't know why that makes me so happy for some reason. Like when you sent me the picture of her eating it, I was like, that's just right. That's just how it should be.
So that was after like 3 hours of waiting to eat that piece.
No, it was like an hour.
It felt so long.
So the ghost of Karen's lunch is now on this pizza slice.
That's disgusting.
Yes. All around
That's gross.
That's not gross. It's not the ghost. It's the memory.
The
memory of the lunch. Yeah, and it is now going to be on like hundreds, potentially thousands of pedal boards all over the world. So that's what better honor could be bestowed upon a slice of pizza. Like it's been immortalized.
It's funny because when we decided that, so we took the picture of the top and then we took the picture of the bottom. Mm-hmm. And then when Jacob called us and said we could print the back, we realized, we don't have a picture of the crust from that angle.
Right.
So of course we had to get another NY pie, It was a good problem to have. And set up the camera, and that photo we shot inside because it was dark and it was that was easy just to light the crust and whatever. But we wanted to get the whole pie as well when we did the first shot because we did include a pin, or I guess some people call it a badge. I don't know, a button, whatever. I don't know. And we wanted to just make a pizza pin that was didn't say anything about Big Ear or Tone Mob. It's just a pizza because everybody's gonna wear that.
Yeah, totally. And it's so many, like, there are so many nights of like, not necessarily just nights, but like, I remember nights of like, where we're like, just trying to figure out like just the right thing. Like, what are we going to say in the trailer? Like you guys wrote the whole script and then you called me and you're like, there's one thing that we can't figure out. And we just spent like an hour trying to figure out one word.
One word. I think it was like 2 hours.
Yeah. But we figured it out. And so that's the underrated part about collaboration. And this is like kind of a broader business thing that Scott Marquardt from Stringjoy and I have talked about with other business owners is sometimes just having another person there is valuable just so decisions can get made, and sometimes just literally talking through it. Like, this is the problem I'm having. And it's like, neither of you might know the answer, but like, as you two, your brains work together, almost like quantum, like dual computers, like it's all of a sudden like, okay, there it is. There's the answer. Sometimes the power in collaboration or working with a partner on something is simply your ability to make decisions increases. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think also maybe even you could say good decisions, because in my opinion, if you have one person that decides something and thinks something and feels a certain way, that's just one person's opinion. That's just how one person feels and how one person thinks. That's their taste. That's a reflection of who they are and their life experiences. But as soon as you have a second person and they also agree, this is good, I like this, this appeals to me, this is something that excites me. And then you have a third person and that third person says, yeah, this is good, I like this appeals to me. And we're all three different people. I feel like that just means you're going to have something stronger. Yeah, because definitely. Like you're kind of rounding it out and making sure that like more people may enjoy this thing.
Well, and that definitely happened with the circuit. There were people, at least I think to my understanding, there were people that tested the circuit that didn't know what it was going to be necessarily.
Yes.
And so by the time it got to me, it was really down to just a couple parts that we were deciding between, and I trusted everybody that I knew had been involved in the process. Like, you guys together formed once the circuit design and the layout was like dialed in, you guys sat down together and tuned it.
Yeah.
And then you had a bunch of people I trust from the Nashville area lend their ears to it as well. So by the time it got to me, it was just like deciding between two good things. Yeah. It was like, these are both good options.
Well, and you also told me
which way do we want to go?
You told me going into it what you wanted it to be, and I knew what I wanted it to be, and it just so happened we kind of wanted the same things out of that circuit. So we kind of made that, and I knew it was gonna work for you because it was all the things we had discussed doing. It was a different type of circuit or variation of that circuit, just because we did have a hard time getting the first one to work right and sound good. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, something funny. I don't know if he's told you this. I don't know if he even know. He has to know. But Diaz, Jonathan Diaz from the Effects Loop.
Yeah, that's actually what I was referring to. He tested it without knowing what it was.
Well,
is that right?
Without even being in the same room as it. He stood at
Okay.
the back door of the back of our house. He stood at the back door and listened to loops through the pedal from across the room. And also, and I think that's a valuable way to hear a pedal as well, because let's say a lot of bands that I was in growing up, the guitar was not mic'd. When you play at small bars, small clubs, the amp is just on the floor, maybe on your amp stand, maybe on a chair, right? And so, yeah, it sounds good when you're like right in front of it. When you're prototyping these things, you generally probably have an amp on the table, and it's like right near your ears, so you can really hear right. But like, you might be at a venue and you might be hearing that guitar 10 feet away. 8 feet away. Maybe you're in the front row and you're hearing it, you're 15 feet away. So kind of has to sound good everywhere, right? So I kind of tried different parts and had him give his opinion from across the room. And it was just kind of like simple. It was like 1 or 2. Okay, cool. Okay. And then now this setting, 1 or 2. Okay, cool. And then I did the same thing with AWOL from AWOL pedals. And they both pretty much agreed on every single test but one. So at that point, I was like, okay, it's like we're getting somewhere, you know?
Yeah. Like we're really on it.
And
I mean, that's
everyone else,
awesome.
everyone else said the same thing too, that we had play it.
Well, and these are all people that have. So for the listeners who don't know, Jonathan Diaz is also from the aforementioned FX Loop podcast, and he's been a part of the like podcast gear communities. He's the one who created Cardboard Blake and took him to NAMM. Like he's in deep with all this stuff. He actually took over the Tone Mob.
I didn't even think about the Cardboard Blake angle.
Yeah. So he did that, and he took over the Tone Mob Instagram when he did that. So like, yeah, he's in deep with the mobbery. But all these people that were involved were people that have had a lot of experience with effects, not necessarily building them or marketing them or doing any of that stuff, even though some of them were. Yeah. But it's people who are all obsessed with this stuff and have played hundreds of different pedals and hundreds of different guitars and know what their ear likes. And so I was like, I knew when it was coming. Like, I've had prototypes sent to me before that, hasn't been so thoroughly vetted because it's just one person and it takes more back and forth. This was just like 1 or 2 evenings. It was like, yep, this is what we should do. And it was like, cool, off to the races. Let's order boards.
Zach from Mythos Pedals is incredible. So he's like he's helped us with designs, and he's really an excellent guy. Great ear.
Yes.
Really meticulous.
Lovely fellow.
Lovely old chap. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was just going off topic, but did Grant ever tell you that he like does English accents? And one time he had his voicemail as a British guy because his band.
Well, there was a reason. It wasn't.
Well,
just
his band didn't have. Well, he would call around to different places
early on, and when we just started. Yeah.
And what was his name? Sebastian Simone.
So, I mean, early 2000s, nobody's booking a band that just calls and says, hey, can you book my band? But when they get a phone call from an English guy named Bastian Simone that's representing a young band from central Pennsylvania, they're more likely to take it seriously. And they did. And I booked us a bunch of shows. And I had many email exchanges as Bastian Simone, and I changed my voicemail to an English accent. I didn't say my name in the email or in the voicemail. I just said, you've reached this number in my voice, obviously. So had I left a voicemail with somebody, at a club that was booking shows, or had I talked to them and they had to call me back, they would get that voicemail and not think anything of it. Whereas my friends that knew me, they would get that voicemail and they wouldn't think anything of it because they're like, yeah, Grant's a weirdo. Like, of course his voicemail is an English voice. But the best part is I picked the name Bastian Simone because his initials were BS, and I thought that was funny.
Okay, well, if it's doable, I would like now. I feel like we can't proceed further with this podcast until we meet Bastian. Can we meet Bastian real quick? Could he come out of retirement momentarily?
I'm far too shy nowadays.
Oh man, the listeners are going
The
to.
thing is that honestly, maybe in the Patreon only episode, maybe.
Okay. Oh, see, there you go. There's another reason. There's another reason to join up the Patreon.
You guys got to give Blake money to hear me do this.
Oh man.
Okay, so back to the pedal. Sorry.
Back to the pedals. That was a worthy tangent.
Oh
That
my
was a
God!
very
Wait,
worthy
hear
tangent.
this out. On that same
Okay.
that same thought,
Mhm.
it worked. People might think I'm a dickhead after this. My friends were in a band called Hymns, and they were Daniel Johnston's backing band for I think a couple tours.
Okay.
And they were playing South by Southwest one of the years that my band was there. And we wanted to go to the show, but we got there a little late. And at that point, I mean, it was like, Daniel Johnston, and like, it was just like nobody could get in. And I just thought, okay, Jeremy, play along. My friend Jeremy was with me. I said, play along. And I went up there, and I was probably wearing a blazer or something and sunglasses, and I just threw it on, and I was bashing Simone for the moment. And I was offended that they didn't have their list right, because we were on the list and we worked with this band and we were supposed to be at this show. And now they're on stage, and how am I supposed to get in touch with anybody? This is ridiculous. I know South by Southwest is only 3 or 4 days, but you guys can't have it together for 3 or 4 days. And the guy like starts walkie-talking, and he's like, I'm so sorry, hold on. And walkie-talkies. And then he says, okay, just walk around back. They're going to let you in, because they couldn't let us in the front because they're sitting there telling everybody else, hey, we're at capacity. No one can come in. So they said, walk around back. We walked around back. As soon as we made it, like probably 10 feet away, they like started opening the doors. They like knew right who we were and let us in. And then with that same confidence, we just walked right up to the side of the stage and then watched. And it was incredible. And the thing is, I was telling Karen about this. If you don't know who Daniel Johnston is, he is, he's passed away now, but he was a very delicate individual, and he has had his whole life struggled with various mental illnesses. And so, I believe, he's schizophrenic, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. And so the audience was aware of this, obviously, because they know who he is and they love this guy. And nobody made a peep, because they know that like he can't like out of respect for the artist, nobody made a sound. In between songs, it was just silent. It was beautiful. I'd never experienced a show like that. It was really, really, really wild. Like people actually respecting the person on stage, because they know that it could be detrimental to them and their mental health if they were too loud or talking or not paying attention or just who knows what, right? And I think everybody that was there also like had like very serious love for this guy. So it was a beautiful show. So I'm glad that I
You pulled some BS, some Bastion Smith.
pulled some BS. Yeah.
Oh man, that's hilarious. I mean, if you do anything with enough confidence, people will believe you, especially in America with a British accent.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm much more inclined to believe a British man telling me off than I am a regular American. I don't know if that makes any ounce of sense, unless his name's Richard Oliver and he's on the Chasing Tone podcast with me. Then he can go fly a kite. But I love you, Richard. I'm just kidding. I'll let you tell me off anytime. Yeah. So back to the pedal. Where did we leave off? I love these. I love these tangents. Yeah, slice of pie. So it doesn't end with the details on the pedal. Like obviously that was excruciatingly like gone over, but it's everything, right? The box, like the whole vibe of the box. As soon as you pull that out, you're like, what is this? I mean, people can go back and watch the YouTubers' reactions who didn't know what it was. And it's just like, this is something nobody saw it coming. And in fact, when I shared the reaction video with some of the members of the Tone Mob family, which is kind of a Patreon thing before it was Patreon, we have a Facebook Messenger thread where we all still hang out and nerd out. But they all saw the reaction video and they were like, there's so many different people with such wildly different tastes and wildly different backgrounds, all reacting like the same way. and I kind of dropped a hint without saying anything. I was like, it's almost like it has universal appeal. And and nobody saw it coming. I think that's what's so funny about all of this is that the amount that we've talked about pizza as pizza centric as this show is, nobody saw this coming at all.
Yeah.
And I think that is a beautiful thing.
Well, over the years, Big Ear also has been
You're obsessed with pizza.
very pro pizza.
Obsessed.
Totally.
Yeah,
Totally.
And,
You eat it breakfast, lunch, dinner.
well, not
late
anymore.
night snack?
I've been being healthy, but for the past week, it was pizza week, and I had to eat it every day for every meal, and that's just all there is to it. Don't tell me anything otherwise. But so
The pizza eggs is not okay.
breakfast pizza, put some eggs in the crust. I don't know. We were talking about that, Blake. I think it's still a good idea. I haven't tried it yet, but on Friday,
I guarantee you it's a good idea. I guarantee you. Yeah, I sign off on that 100%.
But so I obviously love pizza. We lived in New York City. I ate pizza every single day. Whenever I had met Karen, I was just some dirty band dude that didn't really have a lot of money. And so there's a place in New York. Well, there's many of them. It's like a chain, but Two Bros Pizza. And I survived off of Two Bros Pizza and this falafel spot down on St. Mark's called Cheap's, which isn't there anymore. But Cheap's had like a $2 or $3 falafel. But
Cheap's was right next to the Belgian fries place.
Yeah.
In the village.
Yeah, those were so good too.
Yeah.
But I would get Cheap's because it was like, $2 or $3 for a falafel, and then all like as many, pickles and carrots and whatever the, cabbage and vegetables that you could throw in there, right? So being a broke young musician in New York City, that was a great thing for me because I generally ate pizza from Two Bros because it was like $2.50 for 2 slices and a Pepsi, right? So that was my go-to. But sometimes I'd feel like, all right, I've had pizza for the last like 37 meals. I should probably walk down to St. Mark's and get a falafel because at least there's some green in there. So, so those 2 places kept me alive. And Two Bros, honestly, it's some good pizza, man. It's dollar slices, If you just get a single slice, it's $1 for a single slice and $2.50 for 2 slices and a cola. And I loved it, right? So that was my thing. Then we moved to, eventually, started dating Karen. And then we moved in together and then ultimately moved to Brooklyn, where we lived next to Nina's Pizzeria, rest in peace. And as you know, I tried to get you to go there many times when you were in New York. And sadly, it never happened.
Just never worked out. Bummed about it.
So you'll never experience those delicious garlic knots and that Sicilian pizza that rocked my world and probably made me gain 60 pounds. But so like I obviously love pizza. I share things about pizza all the time. Pizza guitars, pizza, just everything that I see that's pizza related.
Totally.
And as do you. And so I'm kind of shocked people didn't notice it. But one thing that no one has even said this to me yet. No one has brought this up. They're like, because I was expecting someone would say like, oh, those teaser posts, what did that have to do with pizza? And the whole point was they had nothing to do with pizza. They had nothing to do with anything. There was nothing that linked them together. I was just making random, just flow of consciousness posts, taking pictures in my phone and just distorting them and just sharing things so people would be confused. Like, what even is this thing? What could that possibly mean?
Well, we talked about it the last time I was in Nashville, and we were like, okay, we're gonna do all these teaser posts of like funny like Tim and Eric style videos of pizza leading up to it. And then after I got back home, we started talking about it further, and it was like, no, we can't give any indication of what this is before the unboxing videos come out, because otherwise that would have ruined the surprise.
Yeah.
Like the reactions wouldn't have been as good. Because people would have been like, I know it's pizza related, like clearly it's pizza related. So that would have like totally, I think we correctly assumed that would totally erase the magic. So I'm glad we didn't end up going that way, even though that would have been fun, but still.
We had to pivot. That's a word that the 2020s likes a lot.
Yes, we had to pivot.
We had to, go ahead.
I was going to say we had to circle back later and pivot. As 2020.
So I used
and we after we unpacked it, after we unpacked it.
I used a picture of
Karen, did you just catch what he just did?
Unpacked.
Are you referencing Missy Elliott?
No?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
What?
No, I was
Never mind.
referencing dumb office speak from 2020s.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were, never mind. What is the,
Is it worth it? Can
Yeah.
you work it? I put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it.
come on.
Is your flip yet?
Yeah. One more time.
Is your flip yet?
Okay. That's
I'm,
okay.
so,
Missy.
I'm so glad that happened. Thank you for that. That was wonderful.
Oh yeah, but I did take a picture of the hats, the chef hats. But
Yes.
I got a comment. Congratulations, because I thought they
Oh,
were
no.
diapers.
Oh no.
Because we're like, something's coming. We're expecting. And they're
Right.
like babies, not babies.
Not babies.
I'm not fat because
Oh.
it's a baby. It's just 13 pizzas.
It's a pizza baby.
It's a
Yeah.
pizza baby.
Yeah. Oh man.
So yeah, so the box, back to the box.
That was the picture of them all like with the bows on it tied up.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about? Oh, I didn't see that comment. I saw the picture, but wow. I can see now why someone would think that. Yes, I get it. We were making a big deal about it as if it was a baby.
Yeah.
But
Well,
then
it was
like,
kind of a baby.
it
was our
well,
baby
that's
for-
true.
many good months now, you know?
Yes. And well, and we say like Grant and Blake and Karen are gonna have a baby. Like,
Yeah.
wait, what? I don't think so.
Weird headline.
I don't think so. Anyway, box. Yes.
Yeah, so the box.
Sorry.
So the funny thing is, that was spicy. I hit the mic. The funny thing is, we kind of came up with that pretty
Quickly.
quickly, and almost everything that ended up being in the box was kind of like designed right away.
It just made sense.
We did the,
You
we
blasted me with
decided-
pictures like as soon as the concept was rolling, it was like boom, 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 boom. I was like, yep.
We started figuring out, what the box should look like. Karen made the little drawing of you with the pizza.
So good.
We went and we actually ordered pizza. Can you believe it? And we set up and we took photos. We took set the camera to like with a timer, and we took a picture of ourselves with the slices of pizza, and then Karen took those photos and used them to make the box image that she just drew over us. But and that really didn't change. The only thing that we changed was we then later added an area to write the serial number on it because we kind of didn't think about that at first. And then we added the note on the bottom, "This is not food. Please do not eat this pedal." But other than that, the look of the box was completely the same. We knew we were going to put crushed red pepper in there. We didn't know about the napkin. That came at the very end. We were sitting there, obviously, because you were there. We were talking about everything that was going in the pedal, and I was like, man, I know it's got a lot of stuff, but like, I wish it had like one more thing. And then we kind of like talked like this, that, the other thing, and thought maybe one of those little plastic things, like the table that holds the pizza up, or the box keeps the box from hitting the cheese.
Yep.
The Barbie coffee table.
Yeah. And then I looked up like those to see, where you even buy them and what those cost. And then Karen, she's sitting on the couch across from me and goes, "Oh, what about a napkin?"
Yep.
It was genius. So
Perfect.
It was actually genius without me knowing.
Yeah.
Because it acts as padding on the inside,
Yes.
so the pedal doesn't like flop around.
and not only that, but when we sent people the pedal unboxing people the packages, several of those people opened it up, put on their chef's hat, opened up the box, saw the napkin, and then tucked it into their shirt like a handkerchief or whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
We did not expect that to happen. We did not even think about that. So the first video
I
that
didn't
we
either.
saw was Eric Marrow's video. And he shoved it down his shirt, and we just started laughing hysterically.
my
Like, how did we
gosh.
not think about that? This is incredible. It was perfect with the chef's hat and the tucked in thing. It was like that. Oh man, the thumbnails. I mean, it was going to be so good. So
Yes.
totally worked out. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when we thought about that, when we were discussing that, and that did not cross my mind either at all. So it was Eric's video. I was like, oh, accidental perfect. Like everything else was kind of on purpose perfect. But that
Now-
was like accidentally
Yeah.
perfect.
The
It's
hard
so
thing
good.
about the napkin was because the box is a very specific size, we couldn't find napkins that would fit the box and not have just a bunch of dead space. You know, like there was really small ones that we could have put in there, but the joke wouldn't have been, you know. So
Yeah.
we found these linen feel flat, are they called flat?
Flat.
Napkins. So they just come in a big box and they're just stacked up. And so Karen had to fold 500 napkins. We had to figure out because we were like, okay, if we fold it this way in thirds and if we fold it this way in quarters, then it will be the right size for the box.
I did wash my
Yeah.
hands prior to doing it in case anybody wanted to actually use it.
Oh, well, thank you.
In case you're like, you're down to your last square of TP and you're like, oh, you know what? I got that linen feel napkin. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than my junk mail that I have left over here.
Yeah.
That'll work. Yeah, I noticed in Josh Scott opened one on the live stream that on the JHS Pedals show, or the JHS show, excuse me. And he was like, oh, and he was like talking about the napkin. He's like, it's one of those napkins. It's like obviously disposable, but it's fancy. You know, it's like not one that you throw in the wash. It's not like a china cabinet, you know, type of thing, but it's like, it's a nice napkin. It's a very nice napkin.
When they first started making those, I really, and like a lot of places started using them. I first saw them in a hotel bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's probably the first time I saw it too. Then like into some fancier restaurants that were trying to be fancy.
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't always, but yeah. And then let's see. So we did the box. We had the box next, and then what was I think simultaneously that's when the circuit was being worked on. I think at that time, right? Everything was kind of happening at once, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's actually, I have a box of various revisions of different circuits and different boards in the in the closet there, a couple feet away from me. And so we were working on that, and then, like I said, most of the visual stuff was really kind of figured out. We did dial it in a little once we actually got the dimensions of the enclosure, and then once we knew how big the box actually needed to be, and then Karen kind of manipulated her images that she had made to fit everything correctly, but everything was really mostly there. So yeah, I think the unboxing stuff kind of like gradually, because if you haven't seen any of the unboxing videos yet, basically we sent everybody a white shipping box, and inside that white box, they found just a white envelope that said "Open me" after unboxing video, and that's all the embargo information, technical posting information, how to spell our names, blah 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 blah. And then underneath that, there were two boxes, and they're kind of nestled in some white crinkle paper. And Karen made these labels for them. The first box says "Open me" first, and the second box. The first box is just a blank white pedal box. And that says "Open me" first. And the second box was actually wrapped in a white wrapping paper. And the reason for that was because that box has the red and white, checkerboard kind of Italian pizza box thing. And we didn't want them to see that, and it would give it away right away. So we wrapped that box in white wrapping paper, put the labels on each. The first box has a chef's hat in it for them to wear. And the second box, once they opened it, had, the real prize. I hope people were more excited about the pedal than the chef's hat, but you never know. I mean, the chef's hats are fun. They're good. It's a good quality chef's hat. So
I did see some comments saying like, I don't know what I like better, the pedal or the box. Like, and I like, maybe that could be taken in a negative light, but I kind of like, no, the box is that's how cool the box is.
yeah.
Like this is not rad. A box that, you're not going to throw this box away most likely. Like,
oh yeah, I don't see that being people will save that box.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, it's part of the whole thing. It's just so magical. But, it's weird to have seen it come out after all this time. And it kind of did exactly like, as far as making a splash. It did exactly what we were shooting for. You know, we were hoping it would, you know, kind of take over the internet for a few days, which is a hard thing to do this day and age. Like it's difficult to get people all talking about the same thing for more than 30 seconds. And that's from other pedal people and people in the industry who've seen it come out. I know you've gotten messages and replies and stuff too, to this same point, but like, we're like, wow, you guys like nailed it. And I was just talking to Wampler about it yesterday, and he's like, this was a release. Like, I was like, well, that was another reason why I was so excited to do it with you, because sometimes with other collabs I've done, everybody's been great, but sometimes it's like me leading the charge on that side of things of like, how are we going to release this? How are we going to do it? And I told Brian, I was like, with this, it was just like Grant and I would talk, and I'd be like, yep, like, yep, yep, that's what we should do. Yep. Like, it was just like, just being locked in on the same plan without having previously spoken about it, you know. And I think couldn't have asked for better partners.
You obviously, thank you. You obviously, you're a, well, so am I. I'm just going to say it. We're social media whores, right? Like, and so it wasn't hard to come to terms with you on a lot of these things. And also, not only that, but even as far as the design, as far as the entire concept, it was really simple. It was really easy because, first of all, it wasn't because everything we came up with was like some incredible thing that you were like, oh, I love it. It was just because we recreated a pizza box. Like, how are you not going to love that? Like we just basically put us in the place of the generic little mustached Italian man running with the pizza, and instead of, you know, some random people on the box, it's Karen and I. You know what I mean? We just made the thing that looks exactly like the thing we're trying to make. So so it wasn't so, you know, it's not crazy that you approved all the things that you approved.
But people think it's Jesus.
That's such a
on the box.
On the
if
pizza
you're a
box?
long-haired and bearded brunette man anywhere in the world, there's going to be some joker that's going to say, "Oh, you look like Jesus." And it's like,
but no, it's Jesus.
where have you have you met him?
Like, yeah. Were you guys hanging out recently? You know
I'm pretty
exactly
sure.
what he looks like?
I'm pretty sure he was not this ugly. He would have never convinced anyone of anything if he looked like me. They'd have been like, dude,
Hey, you're
you're
not
freaking me out.
ugly.
I'm not ugly. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm not with an ugly person.
I'm unique looking.
You're beautiful inside and out.
When I lived in New
Like
York
a
City,
butterfly.
when I lived in New York, thank you. When I lived in New York City, people would move away from me when I get on the subway. It always hurt my feelings.
What?
I don't know.
It did
They
happen.
did. I guess I look crazy. I don't know. I have a
okay.
weird eye. I have a
Grant started trimming his beard recently, like before he did not, and it would just kind of be like Ulysses. That's who it is, right? With the
Ulysses S. Grant?
Zeus.
Or who? What?
What
Oh,
Zeus.
yeah.
the
Okay.
big
Yeah.
beard, and you also you're
I also
big.
probably smelled bad.
Probably smelled like pizza.
Yeah.
You're like, why does this guy smell like grease?
Big greasy hairy man getting on the subway. People, it's not funny. People would legitimately move and be scared of me, and I didn't like that. It hurt my feelings. But I also was aware of it. Like if for example, in New York, if you're walking home and it's late at night, and if I would see, you know, like let's say there's some lady walking in front of me, I'm gonna cross the street to walk. I mean, we're walking the same direction, but I'm going to cross the street just so she's not worried about this ogre man walking behind her. And because I always had to think about stuff like that because I am kind of a big, kind of scary looking dude. And I mean, if anyone ever met me, I'm whatever, like the teddy bear dude, but we're like, but yeah, I get it. You know, I don't know why people would move for me on the subway though. Cause like there's way sketchier people. Like I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm just like a big
I was gonna
dude
say,
with a beard. Like, I don't know.
You're pretty neutral on the subway. I mean, I've been there enough times at this point. I'm like, you're not the scariest person on the subway by any stretch of the imagination.
Not at all.
Like, not even,
You're
like,
definitely
even
not the guy who
close.
pees in the corner.
No,
Not
I
that
just
guy.
pee right in the middle of the train. I'm just, I can't make it to the corner. I gotta go, guys.
That's right. Hey, I ain't got time.
Yeah.
I'm in a New York state of mind right now.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Yeah, gotta make moves. So
Yeah, I'm in this weird like other end of the spectrum where I think sometimes it's just because I'm oblivious. But like, so one of my friends, he's a lot smaller than me, but he lives around here, and he's like constantly like he's like, yeah, every time I go to the convenience store, you know, there's like somebody hassling me like for money or like trying to chat me up in an aggressive way, and I'm just like, do I put out like a vibe? Because nobody does that. Like nobody's like, come on, man, give me some money. Am I just like, do I look like somebody who either A, doesn't have any money, or maybe B, just like, I don't know what it is. Like people, I was like, no, dude, people don't bother me like that. Like people do not hassle me. Occasionally, but not at the level that they do him. So I don't know. Maybe I just look mad.
If you look
I'm not sure.
around, if you're kind of like looking around and you're kind of like not focused on where you're going, it's like a sheer indication that you'd be a good subject.
yeah, and if you like make eye contact with
Yeah.
somebody in New York, you just kind of like,
No one looks at each other. They
yeah,
all
no one
look-
looks at you. Just kind of like you're on your thing, and it's not that you don't want to. It's just that like nobody. I mean, even the richest people I know could not even afford to give every single person that they saw $1. Like there's just a lot of people asking you for money in New York City.
Well, people don't even respond to other people like who they know, like their neighbors or something like that on the subway, because you don't want to bother them, you know?
yeah.
Because like the subway's like time to like clear your mind. You don't want to be like, oh, I'm riding this train for the next 45 minutes.
Most people don't
talking
even
your ear off.
most people won't even like see their neighbor, because if you're about to leave your apartment and you hear that your neighbor's about to leave their apartment, you just like stop. You just like stay behind the door for like a couple minutes and wait till they've made it out, and then you can leave, you know, when it's all clear, you know?
But yeah, that's not an experience that I'm used to having, but I do understand now having been there. And also like the first time we stayed there, we just stayed in an Airbnb, and it was just like a tiny little like 4th floor walk up. Actually, they did have an elevator. It was old, but they did have an elevator. Just like right in Manhattan. And it was just like, we were just like roommates with these people in this tiny little apartment for a little time. And it was like, oh, this is like legit. Like I'm in the shower and there's like this little window, little tiny window in the shower. And I'm like, that person over there is showering too. I'm like, I'm not used to this. Like, like I couldn't really see like anything, but it was just weird to know like, that dude's over there. There's the top of that dude's head showering. We're just showering together. Like, I guess that's what we're doing. And it's just totally a normal thing, right?
Yeah.
You know what's really weird? There's a lot of apartments in New York still that the toilet or shower, sometimes both, is in the kitchen or is in the living room.
Oh, yeah. Like a
Just
bathtub.
in it, like
a
without
bathtub
any-
Just
in
like
the kitchen.
hanging out. It's there. Yeah.
Oh, it's just
Really?
insane. Yeah, just from, old, I don't know, like I guess early New York buildings.
Huh. No,
Yeah.
this one was definitely separate, but it was right next to the kitchen. So I don't know. Maybe they framed it in. I'm not sure. But
New York's weird. People will live in all sorts of weird, conditions that most people would not deal with anywhere outside of New York City.
Yeah.
I was friends with a girl that she worked for the CMJ magazine. I don't know if is CMJ still a thing?
I don't even know what that is.
College Music Journal, I think is what it stood for. They used to do a big festival every year in New York, which really wasn't like a festival as much as it was just like every venue had shows and they were kind of booked with that in mind. So bands from all around the world come and play this festival. It used to be really fun. And CMJ magazine used to send out sampler CDs back in like the early, like late 90s, early 2000s. And my friend Jeremy, his dad had a subscription, and we discovered a lot of really great bands that way.
Cool.
But so we were hanging out one night and went back to her place to grab something, and I had to walk through her roommate's area, which I don't say room, I say area, because their rooms, quote in quotes, were separated by hanging sheets.
Really?
And
It
the
was just
weirdest part
one
was
big room or one small room, probably. There's no big room.
it was like a just big open floor plan, and they just had like sheets hanging separating the different areas. And the weirdest part was that, and this happens a lot in New York, you meet people on Craigslist and you room up with random strangers. So not only was she living with a stranger that she met on Craigslist, but she was literally only separated by like a thin piece of sheet from this individual that she doesn't even know.
That's so weird. Yeah,
And that's
You're right.
not even
People
the
don't
weirdest
really
thing you'll see in New York. Like that's just kind of like, huh, all right.
Yeah, I used
Yeah.
to live in a railroad style apartment where my roommate would have to walk through my room. And I ended up getting a roommate, one time through Craigslist, and she was really nice. She just moved into the back room, but it's very weird having someone walk through your room like that you don't really know at all.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
And she kind of sounded like Fran Drescher.
Oh,
So
well.
it was interesting.
So thankfully you had walls.
Yeah.
We had walls that were very thin. We lived across the air shaft from a guy who sang opera every morning at 6 a.m. So
Well, as you do.
yeah.
So real quick. Speaking of Fran Drescher, I somehow stumbled upon, I guess like in the Explore feed or something. I don't even know how I found this, but there's an account on Instagram that is like, remember I was showing you all her outfits?
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but there's like an account on Instagram. I might have even followed them, but it's just like outfits of the nanny, and then and then those actual articles of clothing, and actually who made them, and from what line they were from, and it's insane. Like there was every single outfit that they got for that show was like super high end, super like ridiculous fashion.
If you take them apart, they look awesome. Like the different pieces of her outfit. When you put them all together chaotically, they look like a crazy person.
It was very over the top.
But yeah.
She's wearing like a $9,000 scarf and it's like, so they really hit she did in the show was the nanny for a very wealthy family. And
the Sheffields.
Apparently, they paid her much better than I would think a nanny would get paid, because she was dripping, man. Like everything was just like she was killing it. And it's funny, like because it'll be like these boots, like $6,000. This handbag she has, $4,000. This hair accessory. I'm like, she's wearing a $40,000 outfit every episode of the show. It's pretty wild.
The whole time you're talking about this, I'm thinking like there's an account dedicated to this, meaning there's somebody who has sat there and dissected every single detail around the nanny. And I'm thinking like, I'm sitting here thinking that's pretty weird. But then I had to be like, no, it isn't. We just spent 20 months making a guitar pedal into the shape of a piece of pizza. Who am I to judge? What am I talking about?
A buddy of ours, Gunnar Olsen, incredible drummer, session drummer, and live drummer for many bands. Most recently, he has been playing with Pussifer. And
oh, wow.
But I mean, he's played with Bruce Springsteen. He's played with Miley Cyrus. He's played with, I think I just saw... who was it? I think Matchbox 20. He was in the studio with them, and he's played with the Goo Goo Dolls, I think. And just like, he's if you want a killer drummer that's gonna play the damn song and not show off a lot, there's nobody better than Gunnar Olsen. But he shared this Instagram account one day, and I'm not sure if he's associated with it at all or if he was just enjoying it. But I did follow them. I thought it was funny. It's called Famous Zestimates. And so it is, I guess a Zestimate is the Zillow estimate, right?
Yes.
And so this is an account that shares photos of properties used in famous movies or shows, and the actual house and the actual address and the actual estimate of what that house is worth.
Oh, that's fun.
So it's super fun. I mean, here's the house from the woman in the house across the street from the girl in the window. I don't know what that is. It sounds like a horror movie. Here's the Groundhog Day house.
Oh, wow.
and which is $781,000 and $200. It's in Woodstock, Illinois. Here's the Truman Show house in Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. It's $3 million.
Whoa.
I thought that's funny, man. Somebody is sitting there looking up these properties from movies. So, Instagram's fun.
Everybody has their thing, Yeah. Like I know there's people that think we have legit lost our minds, but it was fun. I'm glad it's finally out there in the world, and it feels good. Feels good to have it be a thing, and people are really enjoying it. It's brought a lot of smiles, and that's what I think I like the best about it is people are really like, obviously there's some crusty people, but there's nothing you can do for those folks. If you don't think that this is fun, then I can't do anything for you.
That was the best part, is that it's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like taking it back to the pizza parties, from when you were a kid and life was easy.
Yeah.
I still remember
there was no pandemic.
The Land Before Time. When I was a kid,
absolutely,
our VHS tape of The Land Before Time had a Pizza Hut commercial before it.
Yes,
and it was
mine too.
It was like they were like a pizza party with all the kids and whatever, and it was like the commercial. Like you wouldn't skip that commercial. Like that's you're gonna watch that. Like the
100%.
What were they called? Before a movie, what did you call them? Not a commercial.
Previews.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was like the best preview. Usually, VHS tape, you could fast forward through that stuff, but you would never skip the Pizza Hut commercial. That's a great, like they nailed the marketing on that. Like it seemed fun and made you want to watch it because you were part of the party, part of the experience.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's back when Pizza Hut was Pizza Hut, not whatever it
Are you
has
ordering
turned
pizza
into
right now?
these days.
Yeah, I am. We keep talking about it. I can't.
You heard it here, folks. On pod, we are experiencing Karen ordering a pizza.
Well, there goes my diet.
I'm sorry. But it's just so good,
I do know. I do. Well, I think that was a pretty good overview. We didn't get into all the nitty-gritty details because I think, there was different saturation levels on that you guys were looking at. There was different everything, but I feel like people get they get the point. Like it was a huge undertaking. It was a huge labor of love that may not be apparent just at first glance, but this was a massive effort. There was how many different companies were involved in this? It was
Rude Tech,
5 or 6,
Mythos pedals, Big Ear pedals,
Tone Mob,
F5 Metalworks. If we're counting the enclosure company that made the enclosures, Hamilton Steel or Metalcraft, they're called Hamilton Metalcraft. Of course, NY Pie from Nashville, where we got the pizza. So that's 7.
the boxes are from. I can't remember their name.
That's anybody could make the box, but
but it was a massive group effort though, of people coming together and
then a bunch of people helping, and just testing and giving their opinion. I know Blair from Eastside Music Supply got to play a very early version, and Matt Hoops, 1981 Inventions, AWOL pedals. I mentioned him earlier, but he definitely
he's been helping,
and he's been helping build. And then behind the scenes, Trey from Retroactive Effects has been helping build, and Jesse again from Rude Tech not only did the enclosure but has been helping build.
I know Andy Pitcher did some testing with AWOL.
Oh yeah,
So he works at Stringjoy now, but he also does his own independent stuff as well.
So there was just a lot of people coming together to, what's the story about is it Chicken Little? Is that the one that the sky's falling? What's the one where if you don't help bake the bread, you can't have the bread? What's that one? Do you know what I'm talking about? There's like a particular animal and they're trying to make.
It was a hen.
It was a hen. It was something.
a hen, and it was
Oh.
making bread.
She was making bread,
That's right.
and like,
She
but
had to
nobody wanted to
churn the
help
flour.
grind. Nobody wanted to help grind the
Grind
wheat.
the flour.
Nobody wanted to help do this. Nobody wanted to help do this. And she
Did
would
you
ask
say the weed?
the wheat. Yeah. The hen did not want to grind the cannabis. She preferred,
she didn't want to.
She preferred just large, chunky buds. But
Or maybe all of the people around her were grinding the cannabis.
that's why they didn't want to help. They were too tired. But no, so the thing is that, and the reason I bring that up is like, so like, she was saying, I need help with this, I need help with that, I need help with this. And then nobody wanted to help. And then whenever the bread was made, after she did all the work, everybody's like, can I have a piece of bread? Can I have a piece of bread? Can I have a piece of bread? And I think I recall that she kind of was like, well, you didn't help make the bread, you didn't, whatever. But then ultimately was like, but you're good, have some bread, right? But in this case, every single person, every step of the way helped make this bread. And so we can all share in that bread together.
That's right. This pizza.
Pizza.
It's not
pizza
bread in our
bread.
case. It is
Pizza.
dough, crust. What do you call the crust? Is it crust? Because I think of crust as when someone says Karen eats the crust, she always says, save the crust for me, right? That's just the dry
back
part,
end.
the backside that has no sauce. What do you call the bread that is the whole, that makes up the whole under?
Well, I think
Pizza.
I think we technically, I think it's technically crust because you got thick crust, thin crust, and that does include the underneath layer. So I think the whole thing is technically the crust. And you'll hear people say like the crust has to be amazing or the pizza's not going to be amazing. And
But see, that's confusing then.
Well, it is a little bit.
Because if she says save the crust for me, what am I supposed to do? Just take off the cheese and sauce and give her the whole thing?
I mean, if that's what she wants,
I do like that
do what
too.
she wants.
I'll just like lick all the sauce off the, and then here you go.
Gross.
Here you go.
Well, I'm not wasting that
Here-
sauce. If you just need the crust, you can have the crust. But I'm eating that sauce.
And on that bombshell. No, but seriously, do you have anything you want to leave the people with before we hop over to Patreon and hopefully get to listen to a British man?
I'll say something, and then if you have anything you want to say, I just want to say this. Thank you, Blake. This is really fun. Thank you for having us on the show. Thank you for being our collaborator on this project, and for all the good times we've had over the years. If anybody out there isn't already annoyed with us and wants to keep up with us and up with what we're doing, you can find us anywhere on the internet at Big Ear Pedals, BIGEARPEDALS, on the Instagram, on TikTok, on other places, Twitter, whatever. Find us and come talk to us. We do actually, we're not just like a company on there. Like a lot of people, especially on TikTok, people bring that up to me often. They're like, you're like the only company that isn't like just trying to sell me. Like you're like making actual entertaining, funny, content, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying come follow our page so we can market to you. I'm saying come follow our page so we can hang out with you, and then you can be part of our community. So
Absolutely. Oh, and we probably should say the pizza party. I can't believe we blew right by that. Every Friday. Every Friday you guys are giving away $100 pizza party for the rest of the month. So
yeah. And
so
maybe
make
even
sure
longer. We'll
that
see.
you're on-
But yeah, so that's another reason to find our Instagram. And also the Tone Mob. If you're not following the Tone Mob, I assume you probably are if you're a listener of this podcast. But we will make a post next, this Friday, if this comes out Monday.
Yep.
We just did one the other day, and a guy named
Matt
Kimes won.
Yep.
And he gave me his preferred pizza place, and I called them and explained the whole situation. They put me on the phone with the manager because it was a little weird, I guess. And then they had no issue. I gave him my credit card number and left him $100 gift certificate. So I guess he's going to get it and eat pizza tonight.
There you go.
Pizza
So come to the
party!
Instagram, and all you have to do is just make a comment on this post. We're not asking you to follow us. We're not asking you to tag any friends. We're not asking you to do any stupid stuff like that. Just like literally comment, just so we can click your name if you're, it's actually kind of funny.
You're the winner.
I'll say this. I don't know if I told you this. I just kind of like was scrolling and just tapped a name, right? And the reason that Matt Kimes guy won
You're gonna blow him up.
well, it's not a big deal. It's not. No, I'm not mad. He probably doesn't even realize this. because we could have been using some random number generator to check to test it to pick like we have done with big giveaways in the past. But anyway, so I just like had my eyes closed and just tapped the screen, and it just so happens that he wrote almost like a book as his comment. So it was a very long comment with a lot of text, and he tagged a lot of pizza places, and so it just so happened that I clicked his because there was like nothing else to click but his in that part of the screen. And I can't be mad. That's a hack. I never thought of it. So if you're ever in a that's the hack people out there. If you're listening, if you're ever in a giveaway where somebody's going to be scrolling and tapping, just write your whole life story in that comment, and maybe you'll get it.
Now everybody's comment section is going to be 400 miles long.
But that's good, right? That's good. Then you're getting good engagement. You can like read these stories. You can meet your people and know a lot about them.
It will be fun. It will be fun to learn more about like who's out there. And that's why I did a post today, because through all this, I got a bunch of new followers, and I was just like, you probably have no idea who I am because you're here because you just heard about this pedal. So here I am. I talk about pizza and guitar pedals on the internet. Go check out the podcast. And, it's just like why I like this stuff is for the actual connections, and actually, I like people. So like finding out more about the people who are engaging with you is interesting to me. Because most of the time they're really cool.
Do you have anything? Because I talked there for a long time.
Oh, my thing was what Blake had brought up. So I got nothing.
All right.
Well, I'll have pizza in a second.
Okay.
But
That's something.
Karen's last thought.
That's
She's just thinking about pizza.
I'm hungry.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. What do you say?
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Blake.
Of course.
It's been great.
Of course. All right, for Grant and Karen, this is Blake. And as always, folks, good luck and good tones. There you have it, folks. There it is. There is the backstory to the slice of pie. I hope this was a cool thing to hear about. I like pulling back the curtain and letting people, kind of into the nitty gritty. Like, this is the stuff you don't hear about with product development and things that, you wake up one day and there's a new pedal out, but how did it get there? Like, what were the steps that were required to get it to not only the point where it fits the vision and it exists in the way that you intended it to, but also just getting people to be aware that it exists at all. That's its own whole unique challenge. And hopefully this conversation helped illustrate how much love went into this thing. It is just entirely a passion project. And I know it's probably a silly one, and I think I addressed that a few times on the podcast itself, but it's something we really, really care about. We really, really enjoy the whole culture around pizza and the whole culture around pedals. And it seems like a perfect marriage, both to myself and to the Big Ear team. And I hope that came through. This is all coming from a very genuine place. So anyway, we had an epic talk on Patreon. It was great. We dove into some fairly serious stuff that's not related to the creation of the pedal, just more of personal experiences and some things we hadn't really talked about before. And I thought it was a really great conversation. If you would like that and all of the other conversations I have, they're available over on patreon.com/tonemob. Or if you're an Apple subscriber person, you can subscribe to the premium content in Apple, and it will be available there as well. So thank you so much to everybody who supported this release in any way, whether you shared it, talked about it, posted it in a forum, bought one yourself, whatever the case may be. It helps out immensely. We're both tiny organizations. In fact, Tone Mob obviously is just me, and Big Ear is just Grant and Karen. So while we did have a lot of outside help from other people, this is as small as it gets. We're itty bitty over here. So anything you can do to help out is amazing. So thank you to everybody who has interacted. And please don't forget about the pizza parties that we are throwing. I know we kind of plugged it real briefly there at the end of the episode, but if you follow Big Ear Pedals or the Tone Mob, you will see for the next at least month there will be a $100 pizza party giveaway every Friday. And all you have to do is comment on the post. You don't have to do anything crazy. You just comment on the post and boom, you are automatically entered. This is only for US residents for all kinds of logistical and technical and tax reasons. So I apologize for that. But Big Ear is giving away those pizza parties. So let's have fun. Let's have as much fun as possible with it. This is what this release is about. It's about fun. So let's have a good time. And I will talk to you further on the internet. Thank you. Bye-bye. One last thing before we totally sign off here. I just want to remind you that if you do any shopping at Stringjoy, that's Stringjoy guitar strings made in Nashville, that will help me out as well. As I've said for years, I'm heavily involved in that company, and I really do think they're making the best products on the market. So if you would like to try custom strings, go to tonemob.com/stringjoy and check them out today. I seriously love what the team down there is doing. I help them out with all kinds of things, and by you supporting them, you are also supporting me as well. And hey, you need some strings, so why not get some custom strings just for your guitar and playing style? Again, the link for that is tonemob.com/stringjoy, and that will take you right to their website, and you can do all your shopping through there, and that will help everyone involved out. So thank you very much. Talk to you next time. We are brought to you by the wonderful folks at Gun Street Wiring Shop. Yes, Gun Street Wiring Shop. I've talked about them before. I used to say based out of Bend, Oregon, but guess what? Sean moved to my neck of the woods. Sean's in Portland. Sean is awesome and has helped me with a bunch of stuff lately. And if you have wiring needs for your guitar, he can help you too. If you want to get weird with it, he can get weird. If you just need to spruce things up a little bit, there's your guy. He takes all the guesswork out of doing your guitar wiring, and he makes it simple, and his customer service is top-notch, and I can't say enough good things about Gun Street as a company. I really respect Sean and what he's all about, and the product is top-notch. I've got 3 different guitars that now have Gun Street harnesses in them, and I could not be happier. So go to gunstreetwiringshop.com and check them out.